going on, everybody? I know I'll be speaking about, positive thinking, having a positive mental attitude, in this thing we call life, but if you have, like, if you don't have that positive mental attitude, and like you have like trauma you dealing with, or just some pain, anger, somebody did you dirty, and just some fucked up shit happened to you, and you just can't shake that feeling off. You just, you very angry at life. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Don't put that into doing bad things, into doing things that will hurt other people or hurt yourself, because that's not gonna help you. If you do have those thoughts or feelings, what you can do is transmute that into something that's gonna, what you can do is transmute that pain and trauma, that pain, anger, and trauma into something spectacular. You could put it into starting a business, put all that anger into starting a business. You'd be like, you know what? Everyone that did me dirty, or, this fucking pain, this trauma, I feel all this pain, fuck it, I'm ready to get rich, or something like that, put into that. Don't put into, oh, I'm going to do everyone wrong, I'm going to fuck everyone's world up. No, put it into something else that's going to turn it into a positive. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people work out and they become real big and shit, real diesel and shit. Some people transmute it into fighting and they become the world's best martial artists, and they become the world's best martial artists. You got some people who transmute that and put it into music, that anger, that trauma, they put it into songs, and guess what? Now they're famous, now they're the most popular singer in the world. It's not about how you feel most of the time. It's about what you do with those feelings. When you're angry, in those times you're angry, you thinking about the past, you thinking about who did you wrong, who did you dirty. It's about what are you doing with that pain? What are you doing with that sadness? Are you just sitting there and going and coping? You going to, doing drugs, different vices? Are you, you having those suicidal thoughts? Or why not just transmute that into something positive? It could just be walking. Some people get mad and they take a walk, they let the steam off, now they calm again. Like I said, some people transmute that into music. You can do sports. Some people transmute that anger into sports. That's why you got some athletes who be monsters, because they really have real deal pain growing up. So when they go out on that court or that field, whatever, they just be the best out there, because they taking that trauma, that pain out there, and they just going hard with it, and but guess what? They turned that pain and trauma into something spectacular. They thinking about all the bad times. They thinking about that, and that's also a good thing as well, to think about like the trauma and stuff. If you're pursuing, like, if you're starting, like, if you're transmuting that into a business or working out or just anything that's gonna turn it into a positive, you can always keep that in mind, to keep you pushing, to keep you going as well. And keep you in that mode. It's good. It is good to release. Although it is good to release that pain and that trauma and healing, but you also, sometimes when you release it, you just be. Sometimes you want to have that fuel to accomplish your goals. Some people accomplish, like, I can accomplish, like, I'm not even gonna lie, if I was like to be real mad, I ain't gonna lie, I could really do some great things. Like, when I'm mad, like, somebody make me really mad, because I like to prove people wrong. So if you piss me off, I'm gonna show you what I can do. I'm not gonna try to fight you, hurt you. I'm gonna show you through my actions that I'm the fucking man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so having that anger sometimes, Having that anger can push you to accomplish your goals, you know, at a faster rate as well, because every time you think of that shit, I'm gonna get to this shit real quick. Boom, you focus. You focus. You know, that's all it is. Just transmuting. It's all about transmuting that energy and turning it into something spectacular. Turning that pain, the anger, trauma into greatness. It's really all it's about, man. You know, transmuting that energy, manipulating that energy, you know, while also being in control at the same time. You know, while also being in control. You want to still be in control, you know, of all of this in your mind. You know, you don't want to be too spiraled out of control to where you ain't got no control. You know, you still want to have that control in your mind, man, and still have that calmness to you. But you think about it, you can go ahead and do it, but you still got the calmness. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to say. Out. Peace.